Chairperson, Professor Chandrasena, and distinguished guests. I'm honored to have this opportunity to address you on the important issue of water use efficiency of Sri Lanka Army. My presentation sequence is this: introduction, objectives of the study, review of literature, scope and methodology, results, and discussion. The world's ultimate weapon runs on water. Adequate water is essential to maintain soldier performance in all environments. Water is just as mission critical as fuel, food, and ammunition. For the military, water is a limited strategic resource. Hence, the beneficial use of water is a challenge for them. Let me explain the present water situation of my organization. Sri Lanka Army is the second largest water use of the country. We are paying 100 million rupees monthly for water services, which considered as the second largest water bill of the country. Our recurrent expenditure is about 100 billion. Water bill is about 1.2 billion. Water budget is an increasing concern in this institution, which identified sustainable water usage as the top-ranked financial, environmental, and social requirement. Reducing the overall water consumption cost and save money for the institution will assist to stop the worsening of water situation of Sri Lanka Army. At this moment, world's population growing by roughly 80 million per year. Demand for fresh water is increasing by 64 billion cubic meters a year. According to American Water Works Association, United States using less water today for everything than they did in 30 years ago. Here we are practicing other way around. Water use per person in Sri Lanka is increasing day by day. Current use of water is out of balance and unsustainable. We are unsustainable because we are inefficient. What is the water use efficiency? Let me explain it in very simple terms. Water efficiency is usually defined as carrying out a function, task, or process to achieve the same results with minimum amount of water usage. Therefore, above-mentioned situation gives rise to 3 research questions on the efficiency of water usage of Sri Lanka Army. First, is the full performance in efficient water use being realized in this organization? Second, why do the water supply system achieved or not achieve their potential? Finally, is the present system adequate to make an effective change? There are 2 ways to think about the water situation in Sri Lanka Army. First, are we going to permit water to become a commodity like oil, to be overpumped, underpriced, and used wastefully? Or second, can we avoid the problems and have arisen with the stupid use and planning for efficient use of water? So, I took the second path. For that, I have developed 3 research objectives. First, to assess and compare the per capita, that means per person water use consumption of 6 military installations in Central Province, which means 1 division, to explore the causes for excessive consumption, then finally to suggest measures to reduce the excessive consumption of water. The water need and usage of military are extensive and complex. Therefore, giving due consideration to day-to-day usage of water in the military, certain generalizations could be taken as a summary to discuss this aspect. Soldiers consume minimum of 50 liters of water in a day. During hectic periods, this figure may aggregate up to 60 to 70 liters per day. Unless one has experienced the extreme heart of soldier activities, one may not appreciate the amount of water required to cool down the body temperature. This is one example of how planning factors may not actually reflect the water use of soldiers in daily basis. According to the United Nations Human Development Report in 2006, average water use per person per day is vary between 10 liters to 580 liters. It is predicted that by 2030, the world will need 30% more available fresh water. Current global per capita water availability of fresh water is steadily decreasing, and this trend will inevitably continue with population growth and rising consumption of water. My research area was 1-1 Division Kandy. I was the garrison engineer there for the period of 2 years from 2010 to 2012. 1-1 Division comprised with 48 military installations. Water supply system of these military installations have widely differing characteristics. Selection of 6 military installations for comparing of per capita water consumption comes under, and following were considered in this regard. Military installation that recorded highest amount of monthly water consumption bill should be considered as critical. Data availability at Garrison Engineer Station should be considered as possible, and convenience of the location should be considered as possible. Water consumption data of 6 military installations were gathered from January 2006 to April 2011. For the case study, I have selected the military installation that recorded the highest amount of water use per person. Here I graphically compared the water use of 6 camps in 1-1 division. The data on water consumption per person was looking very high in all 6 camps. There are many possible causes for higher water consumption, but when considered about some camps, their water use per capita, that means your water use per person, was higher than water use per capita of top industrialized nations in the world. According to this, School of Signals was the highest water use of the region. When considered about the water use per person, they are in between Australia and Japan. They are using more than 500 liters per person per day. Not using, that means wasting. Since 2006, they have been recorded the highest per capita water usage. In 2010, their level of consumption reduced in half. But finally we realized that is due to a meter error. Water Board has replaced a new water meter, and again in 2011, School of Signals accounted the highest water use per capita in the region. Therefore, I have selected School of Signals for the case study of this research. Explore the causes of higher water consumption was my second objective. For that, I did a questionnaire survey for 100 respondents of the camp. And I also did observation for leak detection and collected some documentary evidence such as water bills. We did pipeline leak detection and also took overflow measurements of water tanks for 10 days. Finally, we did a water audit. Water audit is this, to inventarize the all water use on the site and assess the water use efficiency. Let me summarize all responses to questions asked in questionnaire survey and replies of key informant interviews. We are getting a water unit for 23 rupees for domestic use, but in institution level, water tariff is 57 rupees per unit. Army is getting water unit for 57 rupees. If we are getting Bowser water from water board, we have to pay 65 rupees per unit. This research found that 97% of respondents aware about the main water supply source of the camp. They know they are getting water from water board, but they didn't aware about the cost per water cube of water. This research found that this camp is not practicing any water conservation effort such as recycling of water. Even with their strong feeling about importance of water conservation, very few respondents were aware of water conservation practices, but they didn't work on it. However, 75% of respondents believe that the camp is utilizing water efficient. Are you surprised that the largest use of camp's water is to flush the toilet